Hey there. Hello. Wow. How's everyone doing? It is a Sunday, March 15th, 2026. Can you believe that that is the date? I mean, you have to, because every day is a date, has a date associated, whatever. But today's date is the Ides of March. Everybody should be aware of the Ides of March because you could get stabbed in the Senate. So I would also avoid the Senate in Rome. We'll avoid that. We're not going to fly anywhere near Rome today. Maybe we should. But, I was watching the TV earlier. That big TV over there. You see it sometimes. And I always look for live. I have it on for the background, because I'm watching streams and stuff. So I always put it on like a live sporting event with it turned down. And today it was on Fox. There was like some kind of IndyCar thing. Arlington, Virginia, though, it looked really pretty and beautiful there. Arlington, Virginia. I assume it was a live event. You know what I mean? And that always like, oh, interesting. Arlington, Virginia. Let's go there. So at least we'll do a 5-10 minute flight over there. Who knows where else we'll go? We're going to be flying around in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Oh, by the way, the other thing, yesterday, 2020, I was trying to play 2024 and we got the plane in and it immediately crashed when I hit the ready to fly button. Tried the exact same set of steps after the stream offline, no problems, no bugs, didn't crash. Don't know what's going on. Cheers. This is a freshly poured glass of Diet Coke over ice. In this case, from a plastic jug of Diet Coke fluid. Let's try it. Let's see how it goes. See how that goes down. I bet it's good, though, because I'm trying to get a sponsorship. Oh, lordy lord. They're not going to send me a Diet Coke. That's my life, but I do have the beautiful Bluetooth controller. And I'm going to be using that along with the throttle. My throttle is plugged in today. I have my a little 3 quadrant. It's really handy, especially for certain planes, and especially for the gyro, which is probably what we're going to fly. So we're going to fly the Magni gyro. There's going to be, after that, wow, that go along for like 35, 45. Who knows? Maybe a long time. There's going to be the big brain games. Yeah, okay. Which is me doing a specific set of daily games that they do for free on the internet. And some of the games, who knows, the community may want to participate in. Doesn't matter too much to me. You see behind me the guitar of the day. I've been going through I'll go through 3 or 4 different guitars a day. You know what I mean? It's not like I throw them away, but they're on the stand. They'll be sitting on the stand, and I'll look at them and I'll go like, oh, I want to play that guitar. Meanwhile, I'm playing this guitar. I'll plug that one in. But I've got like 15, so oh, no, I want to get the white one off the wall there and put this one in its place. And I probably do like 2 or 3 times a day, take it off the wall, play it, put it back up. It's just weird. It's sad how much time I spend not just playing the guitar, but switching between them. But today is not a guitar day for the musical segment. The musical segment, of course, is Ken's Piano Lounge. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't played piano at all in the last 3 or 4 days. Now, of course, I played so much that I'm pretty sure I can still play, but I never am sure. It's until I actually get those keys set up and start slamming my fingers on the keyboard. I don't have any idea if music is going to come out of there or not. It's kind of shocking when it does to me, but I keep a straight face, so you never know that I'm shocked. But I'm kind of shocked. I'm kind of shocked even when I play the guitar and the bass. Oh yeah, I'm gonna play the bass, but I guess that's tomorrow is bass day. I'm actually gonna play the bass later today, but just off stream. I mean, my bass, I'm like addicted to that too. I'm addicted to love, like the Robert Palmer song, or no, addicted to loving electric guitars. I think it's a different song. Addicted to something. Probably also Diet Coke. Oh, it's only one a day. I mean, that's only 365 per year. That's not that many. And then tomorrow's the last stream before I take a 2-week break because I'm vacationing for my birthday. But I'll be back, and the next break won't be till November, which will be a little bit longer. But that's kind of a yearly thing. That's I'm pretty regular streamer these days, just because I like it. It's relaxing and get to fly around, get to hang out, get to kind of decompress a little bit, just things I would normally do on a daily basis anyway. Just packaged into a live stream for the few but discerning viewers. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's move on. What time is it? Oh yeah, okay. I think I've covered the intro. I don't like to start right away, you know, because I don't know why. I mean, this I stream the way I would like to see other people stream. You know what I mean? It's just my personal preference that if you're going to do this kind of content, you know, do a little bit of an intro, but not too much of an intro. It's kind of interesting. There are definitely streamers who do a random, it's at 15 to 30 minutes of some, once they've done their thing. So you've been notified. You got a notification where your favorite streamers go live, but you don't know when they're actually going to go live. It's a pain in the ass. All right, so I was saying we're going to do free flight. We're going to not fly the icon, though. Although it isn't sus or anything like that. I just feel like flying the gyro. The auto gyro. And it's a great sightseer. All right, what color are we going to choose here? That's green. That's not white. Green is a good color. But, oof. Let's go with yellow. That's actually a pretty cool kind of color. It's kind of like a nice, rich, darker yellow. I guess. All right, so I was saying that we saw Arlington, Virginia. And it looked like the weather was nice, although from here it sure does not. Also, where is Arlington? I might have to do a search, which is always fraught. Arlington. Are any of these actual major? Okay, some of these. I mean, Andrews. Oh. What's going on here? Oh, yeah, that's not it. That's Arlington. It's Andrew. Why did it? That's not even close. That's in Florida. Why wouldn't it just give you, like, the international airport? Maybe there isn't one, though. Well, should we try the first result? And that's near Memphis, not anywhere near Arlington, Virginia. All right, I'm just gonna have to. I should. You got probably like, you should do your research. Hey, get out of here right now. I don't hear anybody say I should be doing the research before, not bringing up Google Maps on my other computer. All right, where is Arlington, Virginia? I get a feeling that it's nowhere near any of those places. Oh, I know it isn't. So you cannot search for. There's a lot of Arlingtons. There's Arlington, Texas. There's Arlington, Vermont. There's Arlington, Virginia. And that's one issue is you can't just type Arlington because there's like 50 Arlingtons. So you'd have to tell it's Virginia. Okay, so it's near Washington, of course. Washington, D.C., where, in fact, this is basically going to be a Washington, D.C. tour. But, hey, stop. Get out of here. So at least that I can find. So it's way up here. Well, not way up here. But, like... where? This is all interesting stuff. Newport News. There's Virginia Beach. It's north of Virginia Beach. Right? Oh, it always makes it so hard to find anything. Oh, it's way up here. Have a good time. I don't recognize that's Philly. Salem. Interesting. I don't know much about the. This is interesting though. I don't know much about the. Really about the kind of the general. There's that, but it's up here. Okay, yeah, it's up here, right? No idea where we are. Annapolis. Plus the clouds are making it hard. Yeah, at some point I'm just gonna have to pick some place to go because I'm kind of getting bored of not knowing where the hell I am. Annapolis. All right, we're gonna go. What kind of place is this? It's a water runway, not helpful. Cannot take about 23 feet asphalt. That we can take out. Okay, so yeah, Arlington's, now I see it. It's to the west of us. We'll have to see if the weather's good. How far is that going to be? That's not too far. We'll fly west. We'll actually hit it eventually. I wasn't too far away. Hopefully, it will be an actual flight, sort of with a short delay. I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I meant to say. You know, it is what it is. Just relax. I got hours. Now, the question is whether I'm going to do Lego today. I think the answer is going to be I'm going to wait with the Lego until I get back, because I wouldn't be able to finish it if I started today. Certainly not on a stream. It's going to be like 4 sessions. I'm talking about this kind of Moss Eisley Cantina Lego, which I do want to build, but I'm in no giant hurry. You know, I got it for my birthday, so I can do it anytime. Hopefully this is going to be okay. All right, that's moving. That's good. I like it. There's our ornithopter. I mean, it's a gyrocopter. Very detailed model. What is it? It's cool. You'll see. I like to talk about it, but sometimes I over talk about it. All right, we're gonna turn on the main power there. Start energy. Make sure you got your fuel valves and fuel pumps. It's got 2, because it's an aviation engine. It's got 2 of everything. Let's see, that's coming on. Column 1 is on. Brake, rotor brake is on. Perfect. Okay, we're ready to start the engine. Hello, sir. Sir. That was a very close miss there. Okay, it's starter. You hear a little bit of vibration and sound. It's not loud from the inside. Pretty smooth. Oop. There we go. Perfect. All right, radio's on. Let's talk to Arlington. It apparently is a nice day. I gotta check. But as I was saying, depart. We're going to be going west to Arlington and Washington D.C. There's going to be a lot to see around there. It has all, because you know, nation's capital.
Taking off runway 12, west departure, Kilo Alpha, November Papa.
All right, so we got the Rotex engine going. Get a little power going there. Take our parking brake off. Get a little power going there. There we go. And then we can start turning. Get that wheel in front. Turns you. Oh, maybe we can turn on here. Now, what we like to talk about, is this a helicopter? No, it's definitely not a helicopter, but it's not a fixed wing plane either. It does use that rotor for lift, but it's not powered. It just spins around from the wind blowing through it. It's kind of angled to the back, where you can angle it however you want. There is a feature for these gyrocopters to pre-rotate the blade. So there's a way you can siphon power using a special system of cables and gears and pre-rotate it, which is kind of important and very handy, because you want, first of all, you want the thing rotating in the right direction, and if you think about it, it can rotate either direction. But it allows you to go from being a relatively short takeoff to an extremely short takeoff. Like, we don't need anywhere near, we're not going to use 1/10 of this runway. It can literally take off, on a parking lot or land, especially if you know what you're doing. But what you can't do is you can't hover. It's just not designed for that. So it's not like a helicopter where you can hover somewhere and then land. But on the other hand, it's a lot simpler than a helicopter, and probably most safer and more reliable, in my opinion, in terms of design. Helicopters aren't necessarily unsafe. And you can certainly have a problem. It's kind of cool. You can see back in that canyon there, where they have light poles. No, maybe not. No, sorry, that's not it. They're not right there. There's a lake back there. All right, we're going to announce our takeoff, and we're going to head west to Washington. It'll be a little flight, a pretty flight, I'm guessing. I want to check to make sure we have live weather turned on. I believe we do. So if we go to custom here, it says live weather turned on. So live weather and time of day for this particular location. All right, so we're going to approach the runway. Hello. No power plates, I guess. Yeah, there we go. Got uphill, slightly. Something's down there. We're going to approach the runway. No more power, apparently. I mean, I have plenty of power as needed for this round thing. Okay, we're now to our takeoff to part west. Do we already do that? All right, so we're not going to see this at trim, but what we're going to do is we're going to set the parking brake on. That's parking brake, rotor brake off, and now I'm going to squeeze the handle that siphons power away from the engine to the thing. I'm watching it speed up. It's going to be over 200 before we kind of release our brake. Okay, then we can do that. Give us full power and release the thing that's, you know, now the rotor is not powered anymore. And we just pull back on the stick, will fly. It's that simple. They are very, very easy to fly, and they're quite maneuverable because of it's not a fixed wing. Oh, we took it off into this pretty strong 15-knot wind there. I want to turn around, like we can make a real sharp turn, because we don't have the mass of a big wing behind us that keeping us going in the same direction. It's a little more like a helicopter in the maneuverability department. I just want to see this little thing over here. Oh yeah, this is actually a recreational lake here because you can see a lot of people have boats. Or no, this is not a lake at all. This is an inlet on the bay. This is not a lake. Makes more sense now that I see it. This waterway goes all the way out to the ocean. Oh, you know, you don't want to see your thing going. Okay, you want to see that measurement there between 3. That's good. You want to see it at the slowest 200, at the fastest 500 because that's kind of the limit of the bearing. Beyond that, you're kind of overtaxing it. Yeah. So we're gonna head west. It's gonna be a ways of this kind of terrain for about 10 minutes, I think. But that overall kind of, it'll be about like 10 minutes. I'm going to push it a little bit. I guess we'll go about as fast as we can go here. But again, what a beautiful kind of sightseeing, you know. It's definitely not in the middle of nowhere, but it is not, you'll see once we kind of pop into the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, it's going to be quite busy. You hear that chop, chop, chop from the rotor. So in a way, it kind of feels like a helicopter, and it kind of sounds like a helicopter, but it is not a helicopter. Let's see. For lightness, you can see that material there. You see what that's made of? That kind of speckled material. That's structural foam. It's literally, you know, poured into a mold, and then it's strong, but it's very light. It's even lighter than carbon fiber would be. It's not stronger, but it's lighter. And that's important. There are structural, like a tube frame that you can see there. It supports the aerodynamic, and that kind of effectively supports the engine and, you know, your seats and everything like that. But the cockpit and kind of the frame of the envelope there is also foam for lightness, structural foam. So it's very light on the top, and kind of, you know, most of the weight's on the bottom, which is always what you want for a stable, smooth ride. And yeah, and the engine's kind of mounted in kind of the middle, a midpoint. So that's good. It also helps for stability. But the engine, the weight of the engine, which is pretty heavy, doesn't kind of make you less stable. Let's see how we doing. Boy, we are in the middle of nowhere. I think we are going to the right place, though. It is going to be like a 10-minute flight. Let's just see what our. I forgot these planes aren't that fast, but it's going to be a beautiful little flight. These are at least a very. Okay, so we're going from there to there. It's only about 10 miles. I mean, it looks like forever, but it's not really that far. It would definitely be well within the range of this craft. You know, you can definitely take it for a couple-hour flight in terms of the fuel. It's a very efficient engine, these Rotexes. Let's just maintain a slightly southwest or slightly south. Kind of, well, we're just heading to those points of interest. It's really not a problem. But yeah, so I was watching some sports today, and it was Arlington, Virginia, but it was a race. It was IndyCar racing. I don't know where they do that, but now I can tell you that Washington D.C. it looks great. We'll find out in about 10 minutes. We're doing a like we're really not going that fast. Let me push it a little bit more here. But I do want to make sure we stay nice and low, so should anything be interesting to see, we shall see it. I don't think these things that look like rock formations are really rock formations. I think those are trees that kind of didn't make it through the AI correctly, by the way. But I could be wrong, but I'm not. They're trees. The trees that came out looking like rocks in the game. It is what it is. I mean, there's plenty of trees that look like trees. But then they're interspersed with you like giant rock formations. No, that's not how the world works. So I don't think this is that accurate. But once we get to kind of the more urban area, suburban areas, I think it'll tail out. We'll see, though. There's some water over there. You'd think that some of this area would have been agricultural or farmed, but it's looking like it's just not quite flat enough. I don't know what the issue is. There's something over there, freeway, but I'm sure that's just a little strip. Oh, okay, we got some farms. There's some farm activity. Farming activity. That's our speed, 423. Okay, when you get too much speed in the rotors, it really wants to give you some. By the way, one of the coolest thing about the simulation is that the rotors are quite flexible. They're made of fiberglass, I think, and light. So when you're flying, they dish up because they're lifting the plane, and when they're sitting on the ground, they dish down. They sag down due to their own weight. Then they're very light, but they're very flexible. But the game models that they're not just straight all the time. Sometimes they dish up when they're holding up the plane, and then they dish down when you're sitting on the ground. It's really that detail kind of makes the whole thing work for me. Okay, that's a shopping center, kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it is a shopping center. Hey, you need a shopping center. But you can start to see we're kind of on I think we're kind of what I would call the outskirts of the outskirts, the farther off Washington, D.C. I wonder if that's it over there. Eventually we'll start to see the skyline, the actual buildings. But we have to cross over to get to Arlington. It's going to be a nice, another 10-minute flight, I think. I keep forgetting that the plane is, well, I said this a few times. It's not that fast. And the issue with speed is that this model especially has tandem, so two people side by side. So it's kind of wide. They make another version of this, the Magni company, which is a French company, that's tandem, meaning they're forwarded, one's in the front and one's behind them. And so the cockpit is longer and narrower. It's also more aerodynamic, it's faster. So one of the reasons why this model is a little slow is because of its width, because it's wide. But they can't make them too much bigger than this. They can't make a gyro too much bigger than this for various reasons. Mainly because you're manually controlling the rotors using those rods there. And this stick there, which looks kind of almost like a digital thing, but it's not. It's a mechanical device that's hooked up to these two rods. And then those rods, when I pull back on the stick, the rods go back. When I push forward on the stick, both rods go forward. And then left and right, the rods are differential. One rod goes up, the other rod goes down. And that gives you all the control you need over the rotor. It's pretty cool, but it's not exactly, and there's no cyclic, so it's not like a helicopter really at all. A helicopter has a much more complex, in a way, system. These rotors are fixed in that they don't flap around. They don't cyclically change angle like helicopters do. So you're not actually. It's the fact that it's different. This to me looks. Is that like military housing? I guess this is housing. Interesting kind of neighborhood in which you think they would have fences or trees separating. Yeah, never know. Okay, this road looks like a main road heading somewhere. And we're definitely starting to see, buildings in the distance. That's another 10-minute flight for me. I said that about 10 minutes ago. I'll probably say that in 10 minutes too. So, nah. What are you gonna do? You want your money back? You're not gonna get it. All right, how is our fuel? Good. The Diet Coke supply is still quite good, if that's what you're wondering. I'm sure. Also, you have plenty of petrol. All right, but are we heading to the right place? I think we're heading somewhere. I mean, we're certainly going to know if we hit Washington, D.C., you know what I'm saying? But then we got to go find, I really want to find Arlington. Well, it's right across. It's right there. And again, there's the reason why it was hard to find is because there's no really Arlington airport. There's a million Arlingtons. Prior farmland sold for fast. Thank you. That's what I thought, but I appreciate your I appreciate the input. That's what it looked like to me because it was very cleared. And usually that's what it looks like because if it starts off as like this forested land and then somebody buys it and they're not going to cut down all the trees. But if it starts off as agricultural land, which doesn't have any trees on it, they might well build the houses and then let people, put their own trees in or whatever. But these are, the thing is, this is what I would expect to see where there's definitely a green area. These are like townhouses. This is apartment. These are townhouses. These are not individual houses. Those are townhouses, which already means we're getting into area of higher order density. People live in lots of roofs. Solar roof. I almost feel like some of these might be hotels. But yeah, we are quickly approaching more stuff. I always like that. You start in the middle of nowhere. We fly. It is a fine Sunday. Every Sunday is a fine Sunday. Thanks for mentioning that. As far as I know, it is. It's a fine Sunday. I'll probably watch the Olympics, the Academy Awards tonight. I did see kind of the two main. Wow, 2 months in advance. Okay. Thank you for the subscription. Yeah, 2 months of Diet Coke easily. Well, I mean, that'd be like 30 Diet Cokes. It'd be 60 Diet Cokes. So this is a really cool fiction. So I did see Sinners and the one about them, one battle after another. And I gotta say, I like them both, but I honestly think One Battle After Another, between those two, I don't think either of them are great movies. Sinners is certainly innovative and kind of genre bending. I'll give it that. Give it points for that. But I don't know. I just think in some ways, One Battle After Another. It'd be funny, but basically those are the only two front runners. There's a couple others I was going to see and then didn't have to see. All right, so we got an industrial area here. Let me bring on maps here. I'll figure out where we are. We are definitely heading right to the direction I want to head. Okay, it's not to the right, but it becomes quite complicated. We got another 6 miles to get to DC, and we're only going about 60 knots, like 70 miles an hour. But that's fine, as I say. It's more sightseeing. I just want to make sure I stay low. So again, we're in the Magni Gyro, one of my favorite planes. It's really more of a aviation vehicle. It's not really an airplane. It's its own kind of thing. Now, in the real world, would I really want to fly or own one of these? And the answer is, I watched some videos of some YouTube videos of people flying this. And these planes have one thing that's kind of an annoying drawback. That's a design issue. All these auto gyros, which is that the stick shakes, the stick vibrates. That stick there, you can't see it vibrating because it's not realistic. And the reason why it vibrates is because as the rotor, it's directly connected by those rods to the rotor. And as the rotor turns around in its circle, it has variable. It's at some points the rotors are traveling at differential speeds. In other words, as you're moving forward, the rotor that's moving in the forward direction is moving faster into the wind than the rotor moving the other direction. And so for that reason, there's differential forces as the rotors turn, and that causes vibration, and it's very powerful, and it's very annoying. So you'll watch people try to fly these, and they're holding on to this thing. You have to hold on to it. It's not stable. So I don't really think in the real world these are that pleasant to fly for that reason. Other than that, they would be really popular. Now, you're like, well, you could figure out a way of making the stick not shake, right? You must be some way of doing it. And the only way to do it is to kind of add a hydraulic system, so you're controlling those rods hydraulically rather than directly. But that adds a whole bunch of complexity, weight, and danger because if the hydraulic system fails, blah, blah, blah. So nobody would do that. But as it is, I wonder if it's like a hospital or something. It's like perched on like perched on a hill. Always think of that. All right, we're heading into where there'll be more interesting stuff to see that you'll actually recognize. But again, yeah, in the game, stick shake is not an issue. It doesn't actually shake. Nothing shakes on the controller. But in the real world, it would be. I mean, it is. And the only way I know, I've never been in one, but as I say, I watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos. Because this is a real, you can buy these, it's Magni Gyro, and you know, they make a bunch of these models. The one I saw also had a much more sophisticated panel. This is very primitive compared to what I saw in the videos. They have an actual, you know, MFD glass cockpit. On costs, how much the Magni costs? I don't. I mean, I wasn't seriously looking at you know, I'm not really seriously looking at buying my own, you know, recreational device, you know, ultralight or something like that. I think they would be more expensive than a typical ultralight would be, but cheaper than a helicopter. I mean, they're in that range. You know, the things that cost the most with you know, beyond the cost of you buying it, and the cost of where you're storing it, and these can be stored in a garage and put on the back of a truck kind of thing quite easily, is the cost of the engine and the maintenance. And it's a Rotax, it's a standard Rotax 912 120 horsepower turbocharged engine, but you know, you can only get like, I think 800 hours out of them. Then they have to be serviced, and that can be expensive. But most planes have an expensive aviation, almost all do, even ultralights. So this basically has the same engine as you'll find in a single a small plane. But you know, the issue again is it, you know, if you're gonna buy a plane, it's gonna be practical. All right, we're heading into somewhere. I'm not sure this is Washington D.C. There's a whole bunch of cities around here, but we'll check it out. We'll know. I think it is because of all the Smithsonian. All right, so this is D.C. over here. All those points of interest are pointing out that there's some, you know, famous building there, and in the game they've always done a pretty good job of modeling that, you know, bringing a custom model of that building. And so there's lots to see. But then I'm going to go to Arlington, which is across the water. But there's lots of schools and colleges. You can always tell them by the you know, the kind of the buildings, like they're taller. That wouldn't be a small school. But then there's the thing. Okay, so it says Bison. So the Bisons play there. I don't know. I mean, it's the team name, right? But that would indicate that's how you could tell. Yeah, the Potomac River. Thank you. Of course, that's Richard. Thank you. That's how you could tell. That's how I always tell, like, oh, it's you know, what school it is. I'll be looking at the Bisons. And then this is a corridor here. It's a government activity, I'm sure, around here. This is a no-fly zone. You'll get shot down if you try to do this in the real world. We don't care. That is the hugest one of the. I guess this is the big commuter rail station. You can always tell commuter rail from kind of the shape of the rail. You see the rail coming in and going into all these covered terminals here. Well, let's see what the front of it looks like. That is a pretty rail station right here. And lots and lots of iconic buildings here. It's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty old. I guess, but that's cool. You can kind of see how the rail station. Then you can get off, and you're basically down here. There's the National Mall, as they call it, which starts with. Ooh, something happened. Capitol building is down. That's the Capitol building. Okay. Some buildings are not depicted today. There's no reason. For example, the Capitol building. The Capitol building is the big one that's right there. All right, it's fine. We'll see if the White House is there. You never know what's going to happen, but these are all museums. Smithsonian Museum. It's going to show me what it is. Yeah, they're not going to show it to me. But these are all museums, and this is kind of what's called the National Mall. It's having some bugs. Okay, the Jefferson Memorial. It's ended up by the. It's pretty though. Got nice colorful banners out. The good old White House is over this direction. Is that it over there? And again, there's something missing, I think, in the models. Yeah, that's the White House, and it doesn't look. I can tell from here, it's not right. It's supposed to look good and not be a generic model. Okay, it just popped in. There you go. It had a level of detail issue. I've actually come in with a helicopter, the Osprey, and landed on the lawn right here. It's pretty fun. But don't say I ever didn't take you to the White House, all right? But I honestly want to go to. Uh-oh, someone's flying over us. That's yeah, they're flying right to the airport. Yeah, let's go back to the mall so you can see the Lincoln Memorial. Yeah, Arlington's right over there. It's not far. Lincoln Memorial's over here. So you got that big pond, you know. All the marches and protests are. But yeah, I mean, this is not an inconsequential length. People think, oh, I'll go from the Lincoln Memorial, we'll go to the Senate building. You better plan on taking all day. It's a long, long walk. It's a long way, especially if you're going to stop at a museum or something. But yeah, the Lincoln Memorial is here, and of course he's still in there, I think. And the Jefferson Memorial's over there. See that over there. Looks good though. Looks really nice. But as I say, I want to go to Arlington. So this is the Arlington Memorial Bridge. Oh, the Pentagon. Let's check out the Pentagon. I mean, there's so much to see around here. And unique stuff. It's right over there. But Arlington is that way, right? That's Arlington, yeah. Marine headquarters. And Arlington's there. So, and I just want to see if I can find where they're doing the IndyCar racing, because that's what I was watching earlier. But this is a famous five-sided building. When it was built, I think for a while. Hey, thanks for the follow. I think it was the largest interior, you know, the largest the single building that had the most interior floor space at the time it was built. It's been superseded, but just recently, really. And also, this is illegal too. I wonder why. Something may have happened in 2001 to make it really illegal to fly really close to the Pentagon. But we'll be fine. I don't see anyone coming to shoot us down. I'll probably get a call from the FAA later today, and they'll want to rescind my virtual pilot, you know, pretend pilot's license. That's a Pentagon right there. It's cool, you know. In some ways, this reminds me of we went to over Sunnyvale and flew over the Apple Building. The Apple Building is a kind of a cool, modernized version, and I just mean from the point of view is it has this kind of park-like central atrium. But then it has these kind of rings. It's a really wild design. All right, let's head to Arlington, because that's going to be the end of our little trip for today. But, oh, yeah. Well, thanks to you. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate your input and come by and say hi. Come by. I do stream 5 days a week, although I'm taking a break, so I won't be streaming for a couple of weeks. But other than that, I stream 5 days a week. What is that over there? This is some kind of sculpture here. Wow. I honestly have no idea what it is, but it looks dangerous to fly near. You know what I mean? I think that's a sculpture. Wow, well, you definitely get some major, this is Arlington National Cemetery. I think here it's huge. You can definitely tell it's a cemetery. And I think there's kind of effectively a mausoleum segment of it. That's more like it's actually an amphitheater, right? You sit there and see shows or something. But it's right in this huge cemetery, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. So this is probably one of the biggest cemeteries in the country. There you go. So I mean, a lot of veterans, etc. Okay, so this is Arlington, so I've flown over a lot of the areas around here, but I haven't necessarily picked Arlington as a destination. I'm just trying to figure out, you know, whether it has anything beyond a bunch of buildings. It's pretty close. You can see Washington, D.C. is just over there. It's definitely a close-by area. But it is Arlington, Virginia. You live in Virginia, not in the District of Columbia. I'm just trying to figure out where would, if I was a IndyCar track in Arlington, where would I be? It doesn't look like it has a lot of open space. But maybe like over here near the water. Anyway, this whole area is gorgeous. I want to check out what that is over there. I mean, I don't, you know. Hello, how you doing? Just creeps me out every time. How are we doing on fuel? 32%. Yeah, lots of little, like, you know, buildings that look like they are either universities or hospitals, you know, clusters of similar architecture. I think, you know, as always, if it's got like a track and field and everything like that, then it's a university or school, some kind of like track and field activities. Right down there. I bet these are just really gorgeous schools of some kind. Washington National Cathedral. Have we been here before? There's so much to see in this area. We've definitely done the National Mall like 150 times. But not necessarily this part. And this is a dang old large cathedral, man. So I guess if you know, when the president, president or major figure dies and they're lying in state, I think that means they're lying. This is where you go to see them, their body, lying in a. I'm guessing. I have a feeling. In the National Cathedral. It is a big one. And up there is Bethesda, Maryland. And isn't that where the game company Bethesda is? Alright, so this is the National Cathedral. Wow. Very detailed model of a Notre Dame style classic grand cathedral, but built more recently, I'm going to say. And the better, and a different technique. Hard to tell. I mean, it wouldn't have been, built in the time that the Notre Dame was, because America wasn't really that strong, but, didn't have that kind of resources like that. We got a lot of these towers. I'm going to try to avoid them. And yet more schools that have, like, their names. SF. St. Francis? I don't know. I'm not sure what all the schools are. Let's check out this corridor here. At some point I'm going to have to put it down, but I'm really enjoying all these towers. For some strange reason. In Europe, you can always go up in the tower. But in America, for some reason, our towers are usually more utilitarian. We don't take advantage of the opportunity for a restaurant that has a great view. Yeah, it looks like down here I'm seeing more. That's tennis courts. Okay. I think this is Bethesda. Maybe that's further up north, but that's it there. Yeah, Bethesda's further. Let's head up there. I think there's going to be an airport we can land at. Maybe we can land on a flat road, or in a big parking lot. That does require the right instincts. There are a lot of towers. But that'll be it for the flight. We had a good flight today in that the game seems to be operating well. And lots of stuff to see. That's always a good thing. And it's always nice to fly in the use the live weather feature. If we fly around tomorrow, and that'll be the last chance, I may fly around Vegas because that's because I'm going to Vegas. And that's, what I'm saying? That is a golf course. Oh, that's a big one. That's like that 36 hole. That's 18 holes, but still, that's a big one. We're going to see a lot of courses. All right, so this is Bethesda, Maryland. We're going to come down the main drag here. Oh, we're kind of over-rotating. We'll be fine. 540 is kind of fast. 40 is better. This is what you call urban canyon carving. Is it the Marriott's over there? I like the Marriott International. Just get real low and fly in a way that would be considered extremely unsafe and dangerous, and no human would do it in real life. But that's what we do in this game. You get that feeling of kind of danger. All right. So that, oh yeah, okay. That was Bethesda, Maryland. That we just kind of can carved. This to me is a really cool thing. I want to say hospital, but I can't say for sure until you see if it has it's really screams hospital. It's a very large one. It doesn't have like a track and field. And this is definitely a concentration of buildings in the same architecture. Very nice. I'm going to say medical center, but I don't know for sure. All right, the next airport is where? How far is that away? It's 10 miles away. All right. We got another 10 minutes of flight, and then we're going to land up there. Got plenty of fuel. I don't really plan where I'm going to take off and land from. I don't want to have to do that. Then if I did that one time, I'd have to do that every time. I don't want to have to do that anytime. So yeah, the flights are pretty much off the cuff. Seeing what it looks like over there. There's some hotel. Those are all hotels. There's another Marriott. There's like, we've seen like 6 Marriotts so far. Marriott's pretty popular. A lot of turbulence, and it's flying at low level. You're definitely kind of fighting the air, and that's just the nature of these beasts. And all the really light planes in the game. You can really feel the air moving around. Kind of tossing you a little bit, but I don't mind that. Faster planes, jets, and things like that, you don't get that effect at all. They tend to fly the direction you're going, and turbulence really doesn't affect them, and that's quite realistic. All right, we got an open park-like area over here. Okay, just wondering what kind of park that is. It's like maybe a small, like a like a 3-hole golf, 6-hole golf course, 9. And then you got some kind of school-like facility here, because that's definitely track and field. But I don't know exactly where we are. That's fine. All the buildings look great, pretty much. They probably actually do. But this is basically, you know, what they call the northeastern corridor. Eventually you get to lots of different, I guess, Wilmington, is that what it says up there? No, Montgomery. It's not Montgomery. That's it there. Rockville. I love the name of that town. Look at these. That's another huge building. Maybe hotel? I don't know. It's some big hotels. You know, small town America or medium-sized American cities have some big-ass buildings. But, I mean, I don't know. You know, it doesn't say much. How far? We're still 7 miles away from the airport. It's actually pretty far. But I'm having a good time. That says that Rockville, so I think that's Maryland. We're still in Maryland. I think so. I'm not sure. Another very massive, big building over there. I mean, it's not that tall, but it's so massive. And also in a park that looks like maybe it's more hospitals. All right, let me see my travel planner here. Just enter in here. So that's KGAI that we're looking at up here. That is definitely the nearest airport. You can see there's nothing closer. And it's about 6 miles away. Let's just fly there and land there. It'll be fun. Actually, to go some pretend place. I do kind of wish sometimes that this plane had an autopilot. Because it's in the same way of like a helicopter. It's not really stable. You got to keep kind of messing around and just go forward. And even helicopters do have kind of a form of autopilots. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Is that my friend? Is that somebody I know? You retracted your message. Why'd you do that? I saw it. You can call. You're gonna call me later. Just hanging out, having some Diet Coke, flying around. Everything's under. Yes, I figured that out. Happy birthday! Oh, thank you. Yeah, okay, no problem. Hi, Cal. Yeah, I figured KRS. That's your initials. Well, my sister called me. She said happy birthday, so I'm glad she's alive. We don't talk that much, but yeah, and you can call me. I'll be home all day. I'm not going out. I'm going to watch. Oh, yeah, you're going out later. You're going to go see the. It should be fun. So we're heading over to Montgomery County. But no, everything's good. We're all on track. Nothing to report. I went to the cash machine today to make sure I have plenty of the cash because I mentioned last time I went. I brought some cash with me, but I figured I'll get some there. But there's no cash machines on the strip. Oh, your old stomping ground. Yeah, we flew from. Yeah, it's Maryland. We flew from. We went to east of Washington D.C. We flew Washington D.C. Then Arlington. We saw everything. The National Mall. We went to Arlington, Virginia. Saw the Pentagon. Saw the grave, the cemetery. And then checking out all the golf courses. They flying north here through Wilmington. You know, you lived in Montgomery County. Oh, so you lived kind of far north. Yeah, Arlington Cemetery, yeah, which is huge. But we're flying over it. But yeah, this is beautiful. I mean, it's certainly beautiful. You can see the suburbs here look very lush, well maintained, lots of green space. This is definitely a nice place to live, and it goes on and on. But you can see, yeah, we're like 40 miles from Washington D.C. Or no, I guess we're like 30 miles. It's not that far, but it's a haul. But no, it had a lovely, had a lovely flight. You can see little cul-de-sacs down there and houses where cars are parked. People are driving around the neighborhood. Here's a major freeway. Well, anyway, Montgomery County does have a little general aviation airport. We're going to land there. We've had a lovely flight, but it is time to set this auto gyro down. But yeah, I'm not really doing too much for my actual birthday. I'm streaming. We're going to play the big brain games after this, by the way. After that, there'll be a short break, and then, of course, Ken's Piano Lounge, as always. Well, I switch between 3 different musical types, musical performances. I guess it's either Guitar Day, Rocksmith Bass Day, or Ken's Piano Lounge. And today's Ken's Piano Lounge. I like to alternating. And tomorrow, I believe, is Rocksmith Bass Day, which is going to be my favorite. They're all my favorite. This, what's over here? Yeah, looks like anytime I see like fields and baseball diamonds, I'm thinking schools. And if it's a low building, then it's probably a high school. Like that. I'm thinking a high school there. It's a pretty looking one. And it's probably a high school and then an elementary school kind of thing in this area. You can see where there's lots of people living. I was just wondering whether this is also a little cemetery. What is when you see rows like that? All right, well, have a good time. Thanks for dropping in and saying hi. I'll see you soon. And have a great time tonight. I don't talk to you further. Oh, yeah, here's this little airport we're going to land at. All right, we're going to fly over it and come back. This is gorgeous, though. This whole little area here. So this is the Montgomery County, like, General Aviation Airport. You wouldn't be landing, you know, jets here. But lots of different kinds of air traffic using power. And there's the main building there. It's pretty small. But lots of these, those are for people storing their small planes in them. Oh, it looks like the terminals are maybe on that side? No. Actually, no. The terminals are on this side. That's all not the airport on that side. And that's where the fire department is going to be. All right, we're gonna land. It's gorgeous. It has been a while. I've been fine. I'm fine. I've nothing to report, which is good. How have you been doing? Yeah, it's been a while. I'm just doing the same old stuff, though. You know, it's not going to change. But it always seems fresh to me because it's somewhere else to fly and some other conditions. All right, the trick on this is it's not hard to land. But the trick is to land really softly. And to do that, you need to be really prepared to watch that little RPM meter. Okay, we're coming in here. Now, that's this little LCD panel there, 280. That's showing how fast the rotor is going. And because it's unpowered... Yes, my birthday is this weekend. I'm celebrating my birthday next weekend. Okay, I'm reducing power. Alright, so I'm watching 384. Alright, I gotta keep my hand on the tiller here. I'm celebrating my birthday next weekend. My birthday is today. But I'm celebrating next weekend. I'm going to Vegas. Kelly. It's gonna be really fun. We're gonna go see the Eagles at the Sphere. I told my sister, who called me just before the show. My sister's 4 years older than me, but she lives a very sheltered monastic life, I guess. So I told her I was going to go to Vegas, and she says, "Oh, you're going to do that? We're going to see the Eagles at the Sphere." That has no meaning to her. I mean, it might not have meaning to a lot of people. All right, so right here we're going to flare out, and then just kind of land really soft like that. Like just a little bounce there. And that's a good landing. Then we can actually put our rotor brake on lever and just use our propeller to fly us around. We're getting some jerkiness. So I said I knew she didn't know what the sphere is. I think she knows that Las Vegas is a city. I don't mean she might be watching, so I don't mean we need to her. She just lives at a shelter life. It's fine. So she asked, with the Eagles, well, what sport is that? And first of all, that's a good question because it could have been going to see the Eagles NFL team. Of course, there is an Eagles team. Why I don't know why they'd be doing a football game in the sphere. It's another long story. But I'm like, no, it's actually a rock and roll band. I just think that everyone who has any interest in music at all should have at least heard of the Eagles. And again, that's mean. It is mean. It is what it is. Yeah, that's a very sheltered, like, don't know, never heard of them. Never heard of them. She's like, oh, have you been a fan of them? She's probably watching right now and getting really pissed off. And I was like, yes, since 1975, when I was 15. Wait, went too fast and the rotor brake went off. I don't want to start flying. I slow down a little bit. Your rotor brake it kind of trips off if you go too fast because you don't want to break the rotor brake. You do want it on so that it's much more stable on the ground. That was a fun flight. We had a beautiful time in our gyro. That was a very good landing too. But yeah, basically the Eagles are retiring after this year, so I will not. This isn't my last chance to see the Eagles live. I've never seen them live before, and they're one of my favorite bands. I do Eagles songs when I do Guitar Day. That's not really keyboards, although I could. This is a nice little airport. Let's go this way though. We're gonna find a parking spot over here, I think. That's what it looks like looking out the side. Not much to see, a bunch of weeds. More power here. It's a little inconsistent with how you deliver, with how you have to, you move the throttle a little bit, not much, but then wait a few seconds, and then there's definitely a kind of you get used to it, but there's a delay if you really want to drive it smoothly. It's a little tricky, like on the ground. We're just gonna park it here in this little parking spot. Perfect, right here. We're gonna parking spot right here. This is what you call a parking spot. Parking brake on, rotor brake on, engine off. Easy to turn the engine off. You just turn off your fuel valves and fuel pumps. There's two of each. Plane needs those to run. And master power. You'll see it's going to slowly these come to a stop and turn. It's kind of okay. And there's also a radiator fan that slows down. It's got a lot of details because you see there's two radiators. One's an oil radiator, one's a water radiator. It's just and then you can see the air intake on the left and the exhaust on the right. And so it's a highly detailed. There's where you put the gas, right? There's your gas cap there. The detail is great. It's really a beautiful thing. And as I mentioned before, the coolest thing is look at the rotor. You see on the ground how it sags under its own weight because it's very flexible. And then once you're in the air, it dishes up because it's holding the plane up. It's holding up the airframe. It's a wild. So again, it's a very realistic, very unusual, and it's just exactly why I like Flight Simulator. It was the opportunity to do a lot of sightseeing and flying something that most people probably are never going to get a chance to fly in their whole life. All right, we're moving into the big brain games category. That's just chatting. There isn't really, that's the closest thing. All right, just chatting. I'm going to get out of Flight Simulator here. Gonna go to the main menu. Yes, the main menu. Just put my face up for a second here. Quit to desktop. Yes, I do want. Hey, it didn't even crash one time. That's amazing. As in yesterday, it crashed right at the beginning, and I ended up playing 2020 instead. All right, good. We got some things going on here. Big brain games are getting stirred up here. The first big brain game. This is kind of just a warm-up game. It's the Quirtle. And they offer one of these a day every single day. Actually, they have 5 of these. But it's a lot like It's a lot like the Wordle, except you have to solve 4. I already do that in the mornings. We have to solve 4 different 5-letter words. I always use the same 3 starting words. All right, what do we got here? Let's see. This could be TRO something E. And I think the only word I can think of that has an available vowel is trove. Okay, and it was trove. Okay, that's good. Then we have another word that starts with T and O. And I think, and then it has an A and L. So I think it's just going to be total. That's easy enough. Okay, that's oh good. Now we know there's an R-I. Oh, that could be frill or grill or drill or krill. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things this upper left one could be. If it's IR something, it could also be. It doesn't matter. It could be many things. Let's do the upper right one here. Again, all we know about that is there's an A and an L. It could be waltz, W-A-L-T-Z. You know what I mean? Not a lot of other things it could have been. All right, so now this word is probably going to be drill, frill, grill, or krill. So we're going to do a strategy word. That is a word that we know it isn't, but it's going to give us at least 3 of those 4 letters, D, F, G, and K. So I'm going to use defog, which is a word. G, it's grill. And that's what I mean by strategy word. And if it was, that D could have been yellow, the F could have been yellow, and none of them could have been yellow, in which case it would have been krill. That's the only other one that's in the dictionary. But D could have been yellow, or actually D would have been green if it was anything, because it would have been drill, it could defog. The F could have been yellow, because it could have been frill. I hadn't used the D, the F, or the G before. But the G was yellow, so I immediately knew it was grill. So that's what you call a strategy word. That's kind of advanced. All right, the next game is the revealed. Let's see if we can figure out what the thing is that we're looking for. History and Society, and it has, I think, 172 letters? No, it looks like I'm going to go with 12 letters. Okay, and something, so it's a generic thing, is a something of something, more often something with a something area. The something and something placed around it. The word is blank, meaning blank with blank on all blank. But as a blank form of the blank, it is of blank or blank origin and reflects the requirements of the specific forms of blank that these blank cherished, i.e. blank, blank, and blank. Contests of blank with one or of blank with blank, one another or blank with blank. Is Colosseum fit? But I don't think it does. It doesn't have enough letters, right? I mean, it seems like, and also it's the Colosseum isn't generic. Yeah, it doesn't have enough letters. It only has 9 letters, right? It's not even close. So it's not Colosseum. Think about what this can be. It has to have 12 letters. But it seems like some kind of... Okay, well, let's start revealing things. What do I see? Is a blank something. It's a building. Some kind of building. Some kind of sporting stadium, but what would have 12 letters? It's certainly not a Coliseum. Let's see what this is. Freestanding building. What's this letter? M. This could be a hard one. You never know. And blank, blank placed around it. The word is blank, meaning blank with blank on all blank. Something with blank on all sides, but as an blank form of the something is of blank or more blank origin. What is the blank origin? Etrusco-Campanian origin. What does that even mean? What is? I've never heard those words much really together. No clues there. This is gonna be a hard one. I like it. We might have to give up at some point because none of these are gonna give us any more clues. It's just a big word. It's a freestanding building of something. All right, of what? Round or more often. Why? It's the name of a large, round building. Amphitheater. That fits. In fact, I used that word earlier today. At least we don't have to give up. Misspelled it. That's what it's definitely what it is. How do you spell it? I'm looking at, yeah, TRE. RE. I don't have all day. I do have all day actually, but that's as much. That's actually pretty hard one. But we needed pretty much the average. And it's showing the Coliseum, but the Coliseum is not an amphitheater. This is all right. I want my money back. All of it. I didn't pay any money. All right, we're gonna do the tightrope trivia, the hardest one of the week. This is the hardest one. I don't want to talk about this because I'm gonna get all these wrong. But let's just find out how bad we're gonna get trounced today. I think Emma Stone was in La La Land. I didn't realize that she was a singer actually, but she was in La La Land. And that her novel was more blank. Of those didactic fits. All right, we got 2 out. Well, I got 7 more to go. A two is a strip steak on one steak, a witch cut on the other. Isn't it filet mignon? It's a filet effectively on the other. What function? Square root. I had a division. Did not know that. I have a degree in mathematics. That was a hard one. Okay, large. These are hard, and I'm running out of time. You got to get these fast as well as hard. At least I got it, but these are hard. 4 sides of which it was roughly the 4 cardinal directions. It's got to be the Matterhorn. That's the only one that's that roughly that height. I didn't know that, but it got to be. That seems pretty easy. I didn't see anything. I mean, it seems pretty obvious. Great apes outside of Africa. The orangutan, because it's in Asia. They're Asian. Southeast Asia. Practices the right to perform animal sacrifices. It's got to be Santeria, right? I mean, that's the only one that I know of. That's the zombie one. All right, well, we crossed it today. Yesterday, I got my ass kicked. At least I crossed it today. I'm feeling much better. And that's the Sunday is the hardest one. Try it yourself. These are hard trivia quizzes. All right. The next thing we're going to do is the reunion. It's a fun game. And in some cases, you might well be able to figure out words and help me out, help me solve this word. So I'm trying to get this all green in 17 moves or less. That would be part for the course. And we're gonna eventually reunite the hedgehog and the fox. But let's just see what we got here. Okay, the green letters are in their final position. Yellow letters might have to move, but in the same row or column. And then white letters have to move off that row and column. But let's see. We don't have a lot to go on in terms of words. Let's see. But yeah, because all these yellow letters could be on the row or the column. Oh no, except for this E. The E's on the row. So but what is this? Is it necessarily going to be there? Not necessarily. And then I don't see how this D can fit there. Or there. So the D must be on the column. And the R, I think, also. Well, the R could be at the end there. I think this E is either here or here. I want to try here. That's just a good guess, though. But that's okay. First move. Good move. It's basically kind of instincts at this point. So what could this be here? Could be a lot of things because we don't really know how, if it's for sure 5 letters. This is almost certainly a 7-letter word. Starts with EW. Huh. Let's see. Where else do I feel good about anything here? Not really. I kind of want to try this move. I kind of feel this move is strut, S-T-R-U-T, because of available letters. Let's just find out if it is. Yeah, it's going to be, or no, it could be, no, it can't be strum because this M would be yellow. And I think only strut, that was kind of lucky though, but it can only be, it could be strum except that the M wouldn't be white. Could be anything else. No, it's got to be strut, and this is the only other T, so we have to move that. All right, well, that's good, though. So, whew, I still have no idea what I'm doing, but which is fine. Okay, but that's good. We don't have another S to place. Oops. Yeah. Oh, did I just make a move? Shoot. I think I accidentally made a move. Oh, well. Is this R here? No. All right. At this point, I officially have no idea what these words are going to be. That's just fine. Oh, okay. I think this has to be there. Just because it had to be a vowel and there weren't any other vowels it could have been. Couldn't have been an I or an O or an E. Had to be an A. But then what could this word be? B can't be there. No P can't be opera. Well, this is the hard part of the game. Let's see. Can I think of a word here that uses two of these? Let's see. Could be N, but then what? Could be G, R. Grasped something. Drastic. Could it be drastic on the right? Let's find out and put the D there. I think it is. Because we do have those letters. Yeah, at least I am moving forward. Yeah, and that C can go there. All right, we're not going to get our 17 today. We're going to be 18 or 19, but that's okay. But from here on, it should be relatively easy. So I think this word on the top should be blend, because I think this N has to go there, and then, right, it can't be anything but blend, right? Yes, good. I mean, sometimes it's obvious and then it wasn't. Okay, so what are the? I'm not quite sure where they're gonna end up, but it can't be down here. So we know this is a 5-letter word at the bottom. So what is that word going to be? Magic, I think, right? Because we have the A and the G. And then, so we know they're going to be kind of centrally located. All right, so this word here on the left is going to be blossom. And then all we have to do... always make you an era. 19 moves. Not great, but that was a kind of a hard one, I think. I don't know. Other players did not find it hard at all. Totally average or better than average. We still beat them. All right, well, that was fun, though. I had a good time. Hey, the next game is kind of fun. You might be able to help me out with this. A lot of people enjoy the connections. And how do you play the connections, you might ask? Well, we have these 16 words and or short phrases. And we have to form them into 4 affinity groups, but we don't know what the affinity groups are. And there's misdirection and wordplay and play. What does that mean, you say? Misdirection means there's sometimes, quite often, a 5th affinity group that isn't there, isn't the right one. Anyway, let's just read these. We got 16 words. Okay. Dog, hog, frog, spork, cog, blog. Oh, I'm getting a theme here. Smog, doze, horn, gear, corner, motel, monopolize, pinion, bogart, and sprocket. Interesting. Okay. Well, sprocket's a Muppet, but I don't see any others. Let's see. Motel, bogart. You see things that are on a car, like a gear. Like a gear, something like that. Okay, a horn, a gear, a sprocket, and what would be a pinion? Is it kind of gear too? Things that are on a car or on a bike, really? Cog might be there too. I'm gonna try it. One away. So yeah. I guess horn is not really one of those. The cog in these, it's toothed wheels, right? Okay, those are all toothed wheels. Got it. All right, well that's fine. Well, so far we got one down, one bad, but that's okay. All right, I'm gonna shuffle these. You got dog, spork. Spork is that combination spoon and fork thing. It's a combination of two things, but I don't see anything else. A motel is a motor hotel, right? A blog is a something, it's two things. And Smog is smoke and fog. So I'm coming up with words that are combinations of two other words. I think that's it. Portmanteau. Well, that's what a portmanteau is. Doze, horn, dog. By the way, portmanteau is spelled in the plural. I like that. These guys are smart. Doze, horn, dog, Bogart, hog, monopolize, corner, and frog. I mean, to hog the market, to monopolize on the market, to corner the market, and I would say to Bogart it. Would that be another one term of something there? To greedily control. I guess yeah. Don't Bogart that joint. It means you're bogarting it. You're like holding on to your controlling it. Okay. And now we know the final one. We got it. We did not get a perfect today, but we did good. What is the affinity group? It's okay. We have doze, horn, dog, and frog. Doze, horn, dog, and frog. I just want to think for a minute on what that affinity group might be. There's something there. And once we see it, it'll be the obvious one. It's the purple group, so it's going to be pretty hard. But let's see. Doze. Doze to sleep. Snore. Horn. Let's see, it's musical instrument. It seems like this is wordplay, right? There's some kind of are there home phones or something? Doze, is it a homophone or something? Dog, or all right. Well, let's just see what it is. Can't stand all day. It will tell us, and it doesn't. There's no thing. Oh, bulldog, bulldoze, bullfrog, bullhorn. That I should have got. I always feel that after I see it. I'm like, I was thinking antecedent words or precedent words, and it's a precedent word. It's bulldog, bull. It's a bulldoze, bullfrog, bullhorn. That makes. Oh my god, I feel kind of weird when I see them. That's the only thing. Hey, it didn't matter. We got great. It wasn't perfect. All right. There's one more game I like to play. It's the. It's just to kind of cool down. It's the turtle. We'll do the hardest one. It's the rescue. Oof, interesting. Let's see what we got here. Oof, oh wow. All right, as usual, some of these are basically spelled out for us here. So that one, it kind of has to be graph, right? That will give us the G, hopefully. This word here, BR, then there has to be an O, and then there's something N. But I think it's gonna be brown. Okay. Oh, and the W is helpful. I like it. The W is helpful over here. Interesting. I think it's gonna be wider. WIDER, right? Wider. Yeah, that's pretty much all it could be. Was the W helpful? No. Okay, but we have a lot of letters up here. We know where the A is. I think we have all the letters, right? G, L, N, and C. And then we know where the A is, and it's just okay. So, and then so it's two diphthongs. So what is it? Clang, C, L, A. I mean, it's definitely clang. N, G. It's the only word it can be. All right, so we got 4 down. We're halfway through. We haven't made any mistakes yet. We have a P, L, and an A, and that's all we have here. It could be apply. APPLY. And it is apply. But I got lucky there. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay, the next few words are going to have basically no clues around them. We got something E, something ER. So it could be fever. We're going to guess fever. Oops, fever. If it's not fever, that'll give us some information. Okay, it could have been sever. Right? What else could it be, though? Right? That's it. Yeah. Yeah. All right, and that was actually should have guessed sever first. But hey, we could still potentially win. We got 2 guesses, and this one's going to be hard. It's going to be SHI and then something, right? But what? Imagine, or let's assume it's SHI, and then see what we can make from there. Because I don't see a lot of things. We use practically all the letters. I don't see anywhere else where that H could be, or at the end. We know it's not at the end. It could be SHU. Oh, it could be sushi. Ooh, what else could it be? SUSH. It has all the letters. Okay, plus, and it gave us it didn't give us the U, but the U wasn't helpful anyway. That's fine. All right, we got one guess left to guess the last one, which we know is SE, and then it has an I in it. That's all we know. But that's a lot because we've eliminated a lot of letters that it can't be. If it could be SE, and then the I could be one of the next two places. I don't know if any other SEI, C's, right? C's. It can't be sieve. Yeah, I like it. Let's go with C's. You win. I like winning this game. As I mentioned about every time, I only win about 60% of these games. It's the hardest one. And so I always appreciate it when I win because I'm like, well, that's not every day. We did okay on the big brain games today. We did cross the tightrope. I eventually did get the revealed, although it was hard. The reunion 19, that's 2 over par. So it is what it is. But the connections was fine. I mean, we went over, but given how it was, I think that was a perfectly good score on the connections. I enjoyed the big brain games. Now it's going to go into the music category. Who knew? Who knew? I'm feeling like playing some music on stream, doing a little performance for you guys. We're gonna have Ken's piano lounge. Now that's gonna take me a little while to get set up here because I gotta take my piano, which is over there, is on the wall, lean up on the wall. Hello, I'm really trying to get into the music category. It does not want me in the music category. I am in the music category for a change. I'm a little Diet Coke to cheer on that. All right. So on the other side of this, mid-roll, hopefully I'll get everything plugged in and ready to go for the music category. See you on the other side. Should unmute before starting to talk, because otherwise it just looks like my mouth is moving, no sound is coming out. That's fine. There's sound now. Check. I got some reverb too. Why do you need reverb? It's for the singing part. It helps for the singing. I'll be singing a little bit, but right now I'm just gonna talk. Hey, welcome to Ken's Piano Lounge. What is Ken's Piano Lounge, you might ask? It's kind of this list of songs here, which I have memorized. I'm not looking at any notes. I'm just looking at the title of the song as kind of a reminder of what songs I have memorized. It's weird. Don't ask. All right. For example, Say a Little Prayer, Natalie Cole version. There's a lot of versions of Say a Little Prayer. I can still have to play the piano. Praise the Lord. All right. Anyway, welcome into Ken's Piano Lounge. Enjoy a sophisticated adult beverage if you're in the right time zone for that kind of thing. I mean, it's only like 1:12 here. I'm having Diet Coke. All right, let's keep going. I don't know if I really did that song right. Let's try this one. Flash Dance. Flash Dance there. Ooh, let's do Girl from Ipanema. It's my favorite. Thank you. Appreciate it. really not very good at playing the piano. I mean, people are like, well, what are you talking about? You just play the piano. I mean, yeah, you do something for 50 years, you should expect to get pretty good at it. And I kind of expected to get better at it, but at least I'm okay, you know. But you know, you get what I'm saying. Thank you. This song is called "Just One Victory." It's from Todd Rundgren. It goes like this. Thank you. Come by anytime. I'll be streaming around the same times. Thank you very much. What's the next song I feel like doing? I'm not going to do a full set. We're just going to do some random songs. What's next one? Two of us. Just the two of us. Why not? Bill Withers, something like that. It's my cat. My cat's there. He's like making a lot of noise. He wants a snack. He's not starving to death or anything, but he's sure pretending he is. I'll play some more songs, man. I'm not ending just because the cat wants me to. Here's a good song. Get used to it, Mo. Sorry. There's Mo there. All right, I want to do Can You Read My Mind? Superman the movie. I remember. Let me try that again. I'll get it eventually. The cat's distracting. It's out of range. couple more songs to do. All right, I think I'm gonna end it there. A few more songs to do, but it is what it is. Face cam only. Cat is bugging me. He'll be fine. But I had such a great time. I had such a great time doing today's show. Such a great time doing today's show. Here's a shock. It's a shock to everyone who's ever seen the show before at this particular time in the show. At the end of the show. I'm going to do the whole exact thing again tomorrow. It'll be different. I mean, we'll be flying around a Microsoft Flight Simulator somewhere else. It's some other kind of plane. Never fly the same one twice in a row. Then there'll be the Big Brain Games, and those will be different content-wise. Get it? See what I'm saying? Different. Then there'll be a musical segment, which will be me playing the rocks with bass. I'm going to be bassing out on my bass. It's going to be wonderful. I love playing the bass. I got a bunch of songs to learn. I'm getting pretty good at it, too. But, it is what it is. Just playing popular songs with my bass. It's Rocksmith. It's pretty cool. Actually, and a lot of people are like, oh, do you have to buy a special cable or something? Yeah, you do. It's a Ubisoft cable. All right, but anyway, I'm so glad we had this time together just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems we just get started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long. And Carol Burnett would always, anyway, Carol Burnett's not watching.